a great crowd. Thank you all for coming, and especially our candidates. We really appreciate you showing the respect to put your views and open yourself up to questions to our groups. Before I introduce both of you, the rules are small, they're simple. You'll each have 5 minutes, you'll each have 10 minutes to give an individual talk, and then we'll open up the floor for 30 minutes to questions from the audience. The only rules on the questions, audience, you'll have 1 minute or less to ask your question, and candidates, you'll have 2 minutes or less to answer the question. And we're going to alternate left, right, so that hopefully we'll have a good representation of both of your views. And I'm going to do this first. We have a little bit of a precedent here for choosing the first speaker. I'm going to put a number of fingers behind my back. Not taking my shoes off, but I've got it. And Senator Shapiro, what number between 1 and 10? 2. 8. 3. So Senator Shapiro will be our first speaker, and you'll be the second speaker, and we'll alternate the questions back and forth. So in order of speaking, I'd like to introduce Senator Florence Shapiro, Republican, who was first elected to the Texas Senate in 1993 and is the incumbent in this year's race for the Texas Senate, State Senate, District 8. And David, do you have the map? We're going to put a map of the Senate district so you can see how the boundaries are compared to where you live. Yeah, you can. As a former public school teacher, Senator Shapiro first entered elective office as a Plano City Council member. Following 6 terms on the council, she was elected mayor of Plano. During this time, she also served as president of the Municipal League and North Central Texas Council of Governments. A graduate of the University of Texas at Austin, Senator Shapiro holds a bachelor's degree in secondary education. In addition to chairing the Senate Education Committee, she currently serves on the Senate Committee on Finance, as well as the Transportation, Homeland Security Committee, and the Senate Administrative Committee. Senator Shapiro is a former small business owner. She and her husband Howard live in Plano. They have 3 children and 9 grandchildren. Lisa and her husband, Brian Strauss of Houston, with grandchildren Joshua, Noah, and Ari. Todd and his wife, Jory Shapiro, with grandchildren Zachary, Ella, and Olivia. And Stacy and her husband, Paul Rubin, with grandchildren Sam, Natalie, Sophie, all of Frisco. Quite a crew. Senator Shapiro's issues while serving in the Senate have been many, to name just a few: a champion for children, for transportation, and for education. So we'll look forward to hearing you talk in just a second, Senator Shapiro. Mr. Ed Kless is the Libertarian candidate running for the Texas State Senate in District 8 because he believes that the foundational principles of our country, of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness have been abandoned by both major political parties. What remains are big government advocates on 2 sides of the aisle. Republicans who collude with big business and fund expansionist government through unsustainable deficit spending, and the Democrats who believe that bigger government is the answer to every problem and fund expansionist government through confiscatory tax policies. Born in Brooklyn, New York, he has lived in Allen, Texas since 2003 with his wife, Christine, 2 children, Sean and Kara, and he has 3 children, daughters Kaylin, Shannon, and Aaron from a previous marriage. Mr. Kless works for Sage North America as Senior Director of Partner Development and Strategy. At Sage, he develops and delivers leadership programs and consults with entrepreneurs daily to assist them in growing their companies. Ed is a Senior Fellow at the VeraSage Institute, a think tank devoted to professional organizations in the free market. He served as President of the Allen Toastmaster and has spoken on 3 continents about the power of entrepreneurs and the ability to create wealth. So welcome again, and without further ado, Senator Shapiro, the floor is yours.
I used to be a teacher, but I wasn't a band and teacher. Thank you very much. That's great. And I'm sure we'll use those. Ed, I've never met you,
Yes.
so it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you,
Thank
Senator.
you. Thank you. First, I'd just like to say thank you all for coming. I really appreciate the opportunity to get to see you and to meet you and to be able to share my views. I try to do this as often as possible, but sometimes I don't get around to as many places as I'd like to. I am a public servant. As you heard Dave, I have a long resume of public service, and I have always been a public servant. I remember when I was mayor of Plano, and I used to go to the schools to talk to the students, and the students used to ask, well, what does the mayor of Plano do? And I said, well, the mayor of Plano, the people bring the mayor problems, and the mayor tries to solve them. And nothing's changed. I'm still doing the same thing in the Texas Senate. I'm also a fighter. I have fought for you for many years, and I will continue to fight for you. It's true I've been a fighter for a very long time, and I can remember when I was elected to the Texas Senate, the first vote I took in the Education Committee, which was in 1993, as you said, was a vote on Robin Hood. The issue at that time was take money from the rich and give it to the poor. 13 members of the committee. I was the lone dissenting vote, the one vote against Robin Hood. On the floor of the Senate, there were 6 of us. We have withstood all these years. I have filed an amendment to every education bill that we've had to get rid of Robin Hood. I will not stop trying to get rid of Robin Hood. We just don't have enough votes. There were 7 of us then. I think today I could probably get 9, maybe 10. But Robin Hood has been diminished somewhat. It's still there. It's still with us, but we still fight against it. When Ashley Estelle, 7-year-old Ashley Estelle, was snatched off a soccer field in full view of over 2,000 people, I immediately fought the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. I found very quickly that we were treating sexual offenders whose victims were children like they were burglars going into a house just to steal a TV set. Absolutely unacceptable, and many people from Collin County were heavily involved with me in making these statewide laws that became national benchmarks. And finally, in 1997, when Republicans finally took control of the Texas Senate, I felt that it was incumbent upon me to serve as the chair of that group, that majority, and I was very proud to be elected the first woman, as well as the first chair of a Republican majority in either House or in the House or the Senate in the history of the state of Texas. When I learned that a minor child in Texas could go and get an abortion without the notification or the consent of a parent, I was outraged, and then I fought to change that law. That was the first pro-life legislation that took place in the legislature at that time, and now, thank goodness, no young woman underage can have an abortion without the consent of a parent. When TxDOT was playing fast and loose, Texas Department of Transportation was playing fast and loose with our tax dollars and with the People's Trust, I fought and stood up eagerly and went toe-to-toe with them. As the senator of the fastest growing county, thank you, Joe James, in the country, I might add now, I was going to hold TxDOT accountable, and we put in place the Texas Mobility Fund, which does hold them accountable. When drugs seem to permeate not only this state and this nation, but certainly this community, I was there fighting. I will tell you that when heroin came to the communities in Collin County, my constituents, your friends and neighbors came to me and said, we've got to make a change. And I took those ideas and laws and we changed the laws in Texas as far as drugs were concerned and the notification of the issue of some drugs. Last year, I had, it's 1 minute? Gotta be kidding me. He said 10.
10?
Yes.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm trying to go as fast as I can. Sorry. Thank you, that'd be fine. Make sure you don't count all that. Reset the clock, thank you, Dad. When last year during session, I had a colleague from Houston who wanted to pass legislation that said that we would decriminalize drugs in Texas.